What is going on, everybody? Today, we're going to be talking about how to buy your first or 100th investment property. This is a how-to guide on raising private money. This is my favorite technique on taking down properties and purchasing real estate for little to no money out of your own pocket. So let's go through it. Cool. So before we get into this, we're going to talk a little bit about my story because a lot of you probably don't even know who I am. We're going to talk about the benefits of raising private money, how you can find these private money investors because they're not that hard to find. We're going to talk about how to pitch these investors, talking about legal considerations because you are raising other people's money to buy real estate. We're going to talk about how you can structure deals with your investors and also how to effectively communicate with your investors. So without further ado, let's get into it. So this is me. I've been in the real estate space since 2016. I started in the hotel niche. Operated hotels, owned and operated hotels, over $75 million worth of them from 2016 to 2019. I've done ground up construction of Hilton hotels, led acquisitions for hotel brands like Intercontinental Hotels Group, which are like your Holiday Inns, other Hilton hotels, Radisson hotels. In 2020, actually right before COVID started popping off, I saw an opportunity in a single family fix and flip space. I was intrigued by it. So ultimately, I bought my first property to flip September 1st, 2020. And then that first property snowballed into a luxury fix and flip company. Right now, I'm actively flipping about $25 million worth of real estate. And then the long-term goal was always passive income via cash flow. So I reinvested all of those profits as well as raised money to go purchase development deals. And I'm now building over 500 units of commercial and residential real estate. And that's about to be worth around $200 million. Now, you might be thinking, how does this young guy have $200 million to go buy stuff? I don't. And the crazy part is it was raised with private money. Okay, so this is why I'm showing you this because there's so much value in it. Let's get into it. What is even private money lending? I'm going to give you the fancy definition, then I'm going to break it down for us normal people. So a private individual or group that provides funds to borrowers for real estate investments or transactions. Basically, this is how it works. Your lender can be anyone. It could be grandma. It could be Bo Schmo. It could be Jane Doe. Whoever it is, if they lend you money, that's considered a private money lender. The lender in this example is grandma. Grandma gives you money. You're the borrower. And you, the borrower, go use grandma's money to go purchase real estate. Now, you are capable of raising money. You absolutely are. I was a newbie at one point and I had no clue how to do any of this. Excuse me. But these are probably some things you're probably thinking. Well, I don't have the experience. Well, money is tight. No one has money to lend me. Or it's embarrassing to ask for money. I say that is nonsense to all three of those things and anything else you're probably thinking of right now. First, let's tackle I don't have the experience. There's ways around that. One way is to simply get experience through saving money through wholesaling, maybe a W-2 job, and then doing your first couple flips to prove track record. If you don't want to wait that long, go ahead and partner with an experienced flipper. Maybe you bring a great deal, you manage that deal, you sell the deal, but then the flipper is the money partner and you split the profits 50-50. There you go. The next one, money is tight. I hear this because we're in a pretty contracted market right now. So, and no, you're thinking no one has money to lend me. That's false. Just the other day, my partner and I raised a couple $100,000 to take down a deal from private individuals. So people are still looking, and they will always be looking in any market, good or bad, to invest their money to make more money. Now, the last one. This is a big one for me. It's embarrassing to ask for money. Honestly, this just comes with a shift in your framework, your existing framework, because you're not asking for money. You are giving an opportunity to this person to, one, create another stream of income, and two, to spend money the way they want to spend their hard-earned profits. Maybe they can earn extra income to spend more time with their family. Whatever they want, that's what you can give them. You're giving them an opportunity, not asking and begging for money. Great. Just a quick disclaimer before we get into the rest of the presentation. This is not said lightly, but raising money from other people, using other people's money, it's sexy, it's trendy, it's in fashion right now, but it comes with risks and responsibilities. You need to underwrite your deals conservatively and effectively, and you need to make sure that you're treating other people's money with respect, even more respect than you would treat your own money. So let's get into it. Cool. Now, here are 2 benefits of raising private money. It's a win-win, like I went into before, with yourself because you get to buy real estate for little to no money out of your pocket. And it's a win for the other person lending the money because they're making another stream of income and they're building their wealth with you. Another thing are the flexible terms. This is a loan. So you can, and it's not actually governed by a conventional lender or something like that. So you can have crazy amortization schedules. You can have interest-free loans. You can split equity with them. There's so many ways, and we're going to go into that later in the video. Cool. So how to find these elusive private money lenders? These are my top 3 things. Now, social media alone is a behemoth. It's a beast, okay? I've raised $6, $7, $8 million off Instagram alone, and I have a small following, under 5,000 people. You build credibility through social media, and then ultimately through that credibility, you provide value, and then ultimately you would say, hey, I have a deal, and you have the ask online, and then people will most likely hit you up. Second is your sphere of influence. You never know who is looking for an opportunity to make more money. I always like this example because it cracks me up. I didn't talk to this person I played elementary basketball with in 5th grade, I believe. I didn't talk to him for years, okay? He saw my post on Instagram, and he invested $60,000 with me. Now, I didn't know this guy had 60K, but he was looking to put his money somewhere, and he was a happy consumer of my product, which was the money I was giving him. Now, the third thing is through meetups. So meetup.com, that logo right there, that's a perfect way to go find people. Go to real estate associations. There are people like wholesalers there are flippers there, but there are also people that are looking to lend money to make money. So go to meetups and expand your network. Great. So this is the framework. So you learned how what the benefits are. You learned how to find these people. Now here's a framework to show them the opportunity. It's a 4-part framework. It is building credibility, where you can borrow it through partnering with someone experienced. Then you present the opportunity. You have continuous communication with these investors. And then 4th is sealing the deal. Let's dive a little deeper. This is how you can pitch those investments to people. It's called the Big 4. What are people truly worried about? Is their money protected? And how much money are they going to make, right? Let's talk about those 2 first. How is their money protected? You have to, whether that be putting them on first position, second position, having a promissory note, those are all safeguards for your investor. And you can explain that in the way that they are wanting to invest their money. So let's say they want first position. If they're putting up all the money, that's great. They can have first position lien. Now, the second thing you need to address is how much money are they going to make? Typically, you can split it a few ways. I'll go into all the ways in detail, but you just want to know how much money on estimate they're going to make. Third is the timeline. How long are they? When do they put money in, and when do they get profit out? What is the timeline? And finally, what is the business plan? Are you going to find a fixer, renovate it, refi out, and using the refi pay off your investor? Or are you going to find a fixer and flip it, and then you can pay the investor out through the sale? There's a ton of ways, but just have a business plan and have another exit strategy just in case. Great. So now let's talk about these things. So this is also something you can sprinkle into your conversation with people, not necessarily pitching them, but so that they can kind of get to know you. You always want to talk about your projects, past and current. Like I've done dozens upon dozens of deals at this point, almost probably around like 75 at this point, 75 deals. And then we have current projects. So I'm actively flipping $25 million in real estate and luxury real estate. People are attracted to that. I show them some pictures. They're automatically sold, right? And then you want to go to your experience. This kind of goes hand in hand with the projects, but you also want to talk about your general business background, how long you've been in business, so on and so forth. And then third, I like to give a comparison because a lot of the times people have money in a stock account or they have money in a savings account and or they want to pull off a HELOC or something like that. And typically I tell them like, hey, look, even in a high interest rate environment like we're in, you can maybe get 5.25% interest on your money in a high interest rate environment like this. Well, what if they're making 12, 14, 15, 30% on their money? Isn't that better than putting it in a high interest savings account? Or maybe their average stock portfolio that averages returns maybe 10% per year is not doing that. And if a stock goes to zero, they get zero. But if real estate, there's maybe 90% of the properties in the nation, it's not going to zero. They're worth something because it's a brick and mortar. It's a tangible asset. This is not some shack in Detroit, Michigan, where people are giving away homes for free. Next up are legal considerations. Now, always consult with a licensed attorney before you take anyone's money in. Have the proper documentation drawn up. Typically, I have promissory notes on standby. I have JV agreements, which are joint venture agreements. There's a bunch of different things. You also need to consult with an attorney to be aware of usury laws, which are maximum allowable interest rates on loans. There are fund laws if you're syndicating money and buying larger deals. There's just so many things to look out for. You need to consult with an attorney. Great. So let's talk about how you can structure deals. I like to think of it in three buckets. The first is debt. The second is equity. And the third is a hybrid of the both. Now, let's go through some examples. These are actually real life examples that I've done. Now, with debt, this is like treating them a true lender, right? They're loaning you money and they're getting a percentage interest rate on their principal investment. So let's say someone gave me $100,000 at a 10% interest rate. That means if I kept their money over 12 months, they would accrue $10,000 profit, which is a 10% annual rate. With equity, that's when you split proceeds. You split profits with people, not just treat them as a lender. They are a partner with you. So for one of my deals, it was a large development deal. There was a $75,000 investment, and that would get you as a 1% owner in the deal. So if you want to get 5 or 10%, you scale that $75K up as needed. Now, hybrid is pretty cool because it's a little bit of both. You can treat them like a debt lender so they can get some money while they're waiting for their sale, their cash flow proceeds or sale proceeds to come through. In a real life example, I raised, there was a $150,000 minimum investment for a 6% preferred return and a 1% ownership in the deal, meaning people were earning 6% on their money as well as owned 1% of the deal for every $150,000. So those are different ways you can structure the deal. Cool. So let's go all the way. Let's fast forward. So we've learned how to find people, how to pitch them, how to talk to them. Now they have effectively wired you money, your business money, and you use their money to buy real estate. Now, what do you need to do? You need to effectively communicate with them. Regular communication is key. And having a follow-up process is absolutely key. So to the right here, this is a screenshot of an actual text. I like to personally send texts out to our 25 or 30 investors every couple of weeks, depending on their project and depending on the milestones of that project. So it's just a quick update, and that's all they need to feel safe and secure. And please do not hide bad news from your investors. If timelines are going longer than expected, let them know why. And let them know, hey, I'm doing everything in my power. The timeline may be longer, but I'm doing everything in my power to make sure your principal and profit is protected. Is that okay with you? And just, they're okay. They just don't want to lose money. Great. So here's a bonus that I want to talk to you all about. Again, consult with an attorney, but typically you need one of two documents in order to have someone partner up with you. The first is a promissory note. That's if they're typically like a debt lender. And the second is a JV agreement. I like to use those if someone's like an equity partner, right? Like, hey, 123 Main Street LLC is fronting the money for the purchase of this property. They are entitled to 50% of the sale proceeds once the sale happens. So those are the two documents. So you can ask your attorney about those so that they can draft up what's applicable to your state and your situation. Great. Here's my ask, because y'all knew it was coming. You need to just take action. If you do not use any of the tools and resources that I provided in this video, I will be very disappointed. Take and learn from this. I want you to steal my frameworks. I want you to steal everything, okay? I really appreciate you all taking the time to watch the video. So just take action and repay me that way. Great. So if you like this video, if you found value from it, please go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Priyesh_Patel. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day.